gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. We may now be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today for the Iisang Nasyon, Iisang Aksyon, Tapusin ang OSAEC Ngayon Summit 2024. May we call on Attorney Samson Inocencio Jr., National Director of International Justice Mission Philippines, for his welcome remarks and overview of the Report OSAEC campaign with audiovisual presentation.
His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President, Republic of the Philippines. Esteemed members of the Cabinet, leaders from both national and local government units, our partners in the fight against online sexual abuse or exploitation of children, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Mr. President, thank you for your presence and for rallying the Filipino nation to end online sexual abuse or exploitation of children once and for all. We are confronted with a huge challenge as a nation. 1 in 100 Filipino children were trafficked for the production and sale of child sexual exploitation material in 2022 alone. But Mr. President, your strong leadership and our collective commitment give me confidence that we will see the end of OSAEC soon. Your decisive directive, calling for a whole-of-nation approach to combat OSAEC, is what inspired this summit, bringing together both national and local stakeholders for a common purpose. In June, I had the great honor of receiving the Trafficking in Persons Report Hero Award from the U.S. State Department. It is not just a recognition of my work, but of the commitment, innovative response, and collaborative partnerships between government and non-governmental stakeholders working together to fight trafficking in the Philippines. And this award came alongside the Philippines Tier 1 ranking for the 9th consecutive year in the Trafficking in Persons report, validating the strength of our national response. While we still have much work to do to protect our children abused each year from OSAEC, with this proven track record, we are on the path to establishing the world's best response to OSAEC. Philippines truly is leading the world in implementing a research-based protection model for ending this crime and protecting children. And I do believe we are showing the world how to end OSAEC so that all children can be protected. Iisang Nasyon, Iisang Aksyon, Tapusin ang OSAEC Ngayon. This call embodies who we are as a nation. It is a rallying cry for a collective action deeply rooted in our Filipino value of kapwa, the belief that we are all interconnected and that we must think and act as one. And IGEM is honored to partner with the government in launching this national campaign, which reflects that very spirit. If just one child is abused and exploited in our nation, we will all come together to protect that child. All of us must do our part, from the national to the local level, from government to local citizen. We must prioritize educating the public on how to identify and report this form of child abuse, and then be ready to hold abusers accountable, including from demand-side countries, and prevent this from happening in the first place. Let us show the world how to stop OSAEC once and for all together. Now, I'm delighted to present to you the full video of the Bayang Walang Bahid ng OSAEC campaign. Maraming salamat po.
Ibong nilalaman na maaaring maging nakakabahala para sa mga manonood.
Sa bayan namin, ang mga bata ay sinisigurado naming ligtas. Sila ay inaalagaan, pinoprotektahan, at binabantayan.
Ang mga anak ko ay parang anak na rin nila. Ang mga anak nila ay parang anak ko rin. At habang naririto ako, ipinapangako kong walang masamang mangyayari sa kanila.
Bilang isang komunidad, iisa ang aming responsibilidad. Kaya naman, nagtutulungan kami at sama-samang pinoprotektahan ang bawat bata sa aming bayan.
Pero teka, bakit may parang kakaiba? Napasok ba ng OSAEC ang barangay natin? Di pwede yan. Di dapat palampasin. Kahit duda pa lang, dapat i-report agad natin. Di tayo papayag na madagdagan pa ang mga biktima. Gagawin natin ang lahat para matiyak na ni isa sa ating mga anak walang mapapahamak.
Sa taong 2022, isa sa 100 batang Pilipino ay biktima ng pang-aabuso para lumikha at magbenta ng child sexual exploitation material. Madalas itong pinatawag na show, chat-chat, cybersex o child porn. Mga tawag na hindi akma sa totoong nadadanap na pang-aabuso sa bata. Dahil ang totoong tawag dito ay online sexual abuse o exploitation of children o OSAEC. Ang pang-aabusong ito ay nagdudulot ng matinding trauma sa mga batang biktima.
Walang lugar dapat ang krimeng ito sa bansa natin. Kaya't samahan niyo kami at pagtulungan natin wakasan ito.
Di dapat ito usaping pampamilya lang. Dahil ang labang ito ay para sa kinabukasan ng ating lipunan.
Kahit pinakamaliit na senyales lang ang makita, i-report agad. Maaaring mga batang nagkukumpulan sa isang bahay, doble-dobleng koneksyon ng internet, pamilyang dati walang-wala, biglang magarbo ang pamumuhay, o pagbabago sa kilos ng bata gaya ng pagiging balisa, pagkakaroon ng takot sa ibang tao, laging natutulog, o maging ang pagkakaroon ng pasa o sugat na hindi maipaliwanag. Importante ang bawat detalye, kaya huwag matakot magsalita. Kung may duda, i-report ka agad. Mga otoridad na ang bahala.
Responsibilidad nating magsalita para sa kanila. Tayo ang boses ng isa't isa.
Dito sa bayan namin, tahimik, pero di kami tatahimik.
Di kami titigil. Sama-sama, pagtutulungan namin hanggang sa kahuli-hulihang bakas ng karahasan, tatanggalin at lilinisin namin.
Sama-sama nating wawakasan ng OSAEC hanggang sa kahit pinakamaliit na bahid, siguradong wala sa bayan namin. Ganito sa bayan namin. Sana sa inyo rin.
Bayan mo ng bahid ng OSAEC para sa isang bansang ligtas sa OSAEC. Iisang Nasyon, Iisang Aksyon. Kung may kahina-hinalang kaso ng OSAEC sa inyong lugar, magsumbong o tumawag sa lokal na otoridad.
Thank you, Attorney Sampson. At this point, may we call on Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. of the Department of Interior and Local Government for his message.
Of course, to our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., to Attorney Inocencio, Mr. Blair Burns of IJM, members of the IACAT, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to everyone. We are gathered here today not just as public servant, but as protectors of our nation's future. and this is our children. The fight against online sexual abuse and exploitation of children is a fight for the children's safety, innocence, and the right to live free from fear. In a sectoral meeting in Malacanang regarding OSAEC, no less than our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said that the most heinous and evil of all crimes are crimes committed against children, specifically sexual exploitation. And during this meeting, he ordered all of those present to immediately crack down on OSAEC. This is our President ang nagtatanggol sa ating kinabukasan. Ladies and gentlemen, last May 13, 2024, the Philippines participated in the 33rd Conference of the Commission on Criminal Prevention and Criminal Justice in Vienna. In one of the side events, it was the first time that I heard that the Philippines is considered to be the epicenter of online child pornography per accounts of an international non-government organization. Sa totoo lang, bilang isang Pilipino, napakasakit pakinggan po nito. That is why our call to action, and I've told them that we will protect our children. That is the call of our President, and that is, of course, everyone's call to action. Lahat po tayo. But then, I stated in that summit that we are the victims. We will do something about this. But it is time that other countries must penalize the end consumers, those who watch the videos. Each and every country should pass this law penalizing the end consumers. My dear friends, based on DILG's VAUSI data, from January to June 24, there had been a total of 22,421 children who have experienced physical, sexual, emotional, and psychological abuse, neglect, and other types of violence. On the side of the PNP, they conducted a total of 94 OSAEC operations from January to September 2024, which resulted in the rescue of 169 victims, the arrest of 51 suspects, and the filing of 60 cases. My dear friends, in the side of the DILG, we have this memorandum that we gave to all local government units. Number one, they should adopt local ordinance against OSAEC and CISEP. This is mandatory. Number two, they should monitor percentage of LGU and staff social service workforce who are trained to implement special child protection laws, including OSAEC CISEP. Number three, monitor the number of reports made by LSWDO to a report of a suspected or alleged OSAEC CISEP incidents are made. Number four, include RA 11930 in the local government code for children, and include in the menu of PPAs the advocacy initiatives, including celebrating the second Tuesday of February every year as Safer Internet Day for Children. These are just some of the memorandums that we have made. And perhaps, in ending, just let me tell you this. I came from Dubai after Alice Goo, after Pastor Kiboloy. But for me, ang pinaka masakit sa lahat at talagang tinamaan ako was this trip to Dubai. What is this? This is the arrest of a certain Teddy J. Mojica. This person has victimized 111 young children. The youngest is 9 years old, and the oldest is about 15, a median age median age of 13 years. What is his, how does he do things? He will offer 500 pesos to young students to give their pictures. And he will first profile them. Loners, achievers, who have no friends. And then once profiling them, offer 500 just to give a uniform, pictures. And then after a while, he will blackmail the children. He will place the face of the children with the naked body, and so the children will protest. And this predator will say that, look, I'm going to post this picture if we're not going to continue, until he controls them. And not only that, the worst is, there are children that he will tell them to go to a certain place, and these young children will be raped. And while being raped, it's being videotaped. And he will sell this in the dark web. And again, he will tell the children, you should do this, otherwise we will be posting this. 111 children. And I would like to thank, she's now here, General Portia Manalad, and the entire Children's and Welfare. Maraming salamat, Portia. She was the one who was able to trace this in the internet. And when she told me, I called up Hamad, my friend from the Interpol in Singapore. And then we had a meeting with Lieutenant General Dana of the UAE. And Dana reported it to Sheikh Saif Al Nahyan, who's the Minister of the Interior, also a good friend. And they were able to track this sexual predator. And 3 days ago, we went to Dubai and brought Chodo Mojica here to the Philippines to face justice. Masakit man ito, tanggapin na lang natin na nangyari na ito, pero ang importante, not during our time. We will do something about this through the guidance of our President. That is why I would like to thank all of you who are here. Let's protect our children. Tama kayo. Iisang Nasyon, Iisang Aksyon, sugpuin ang OSAEC. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Abalos, for your dedication to this cause. Now, for the next part of our program, we kindly ask everyone, including our media guests, to protect the privacy and confidentiality of our next speaker. We are honored to welcome a survivor leader to share her story and call to action. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to Charito, the chairperson of the Philippine Survivor Network.
Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Charito, a survivor leader and a chairperson of the Philippine Survivor Network, or the PSN. So in 2004, when I was 13 years old, I was trapped in a bar, guarded, forced to entertain customers and to strip dance. NBI rescued me. After 10 years of my rescue, my perpetrators were convicted, but they are still at large today. At 11 years old, my fellow survivor, Joy, was asked to sit in front of the cameras, naked to be seen by many foreign online sex offenders who paid for her abuse. After 7 years of abuse and exploitation, Joy was rescued together with 13 other victims. It pains me to know that her community knew about the exploitation, even the barangay officials. But no one from the community reported. Thank you, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., for calling for a stronger response to OSAEC. And with your leadership, we, the PSN, are hopeful of seeing justice served, survivors restored, and victims rescued. We want protection for the victims, for safe spaces, for agencies to be trauma-informed. We need justice and convictions to be served. And I am excited to see our court give faster convictions to OSAEC cases. I am excited that our community magpakabana sa mga nahitabo sa palibot. I am excited to see increased education for local officials about OSAEC, and if possible, hopefully, put up an OSAEC desk in every LGU. Lastly, I am excited for mayors to provide intentional investment for the sustainability of survivors by providing scholarships and financial support for activities that are critical to our healing and restoration. So let's work together, especially now that we have a plea from His Excellency na magkaisa at magkaisa para sa kaniyang pakibaka. Na today, totoong tayo ay magiging iisang nasyon na may iisang aksyon. Tapusin ang OSAEC ngayon. Pwede bang sabay-sabay nating bigkasin at sabayin ito? Iisang nasyon, iisang aksyon, tapusin ang OSAEC ngayon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charito, for your courage and for reminding us all why we are here today, for reminding us that this fight is not just about campaigns and programs, but about real lives of vulnerable children. At this juncture, may we invite Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. from the Department of Interior and Local Government to introduce our guest of honor and speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Secretary of Interior and Local Government, Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos. Please be seated. The esteemed members of the Diplomatic Corps, the International Justice Mission, or IGM, Chief Program Officer, Mr. Blair Burns, the IJM Vice President, Attorney Samson Inocencio, the officials and the members of IJM, my fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As I was listening to the young lady, and she is a lady, I could not help but shed a tear to try to have to relive the suffering that she went through, and to think how many other children are, even as we here sit in this fancy hotel room, eating our fancy food, continuing to suffer the same fate as she has. And accompanying those tears that I just shed was a deep sense of shame, because we have not done enough for the Philippines to now be considered the epicenter of, let us not shorten it into a clinical term, OSAEC, It is sexual abuse and exploitation of children. And I leave it to your imagination. And I would imagine in some cases your imagination cannot even begin to fathom what is done to these poor children, to our poor children. And so we must do more. We must do more. The Filipino culture, one of the most important part of the Filipino culture is family. We are known around the world for that. We are so well known for it that Filipinos are the number one caretakers of foreign children all around the world. I go and travel and meet important leaders all around the world. And they say, and I'm talking about kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers. And they say to me, I was raised by a Filipina. My second mother is a Filipina. And that's what we Filipinos are. We love our families. We adore our children. And for us to allow this to happen in our country brings to me an overwhelming sense of shame, because being in government, being in public service, we are not doing enough. We must do more. However, I am happy that we have now, together with the Interagency Council Against Trafficking and the Department of the Interior and Local Government, that we have had now this conference, and the IJM has organized this very important event. We are here today to confront one of the greatest challenges of our time. The challenges that we face in government are always the challenges that are brought to us by the future. And what exemplifies our future more, what symbolizes our future more than our children? And that is why this strikes at the very heart of our society. It undermines the foundations of what we are, of who we are as a people. In every community that is alive with the laughter and the chatter of children, there is a dark reality where 500,000 Filipino, 1 in every 100 Filipinos, has been victimized. It is an appalling statistic. We cannot allow this to continue. We will not allow it to continue. This is a horrible scourge of online sexual abuse or exploitation of children, or OSAEC, which remains widespread now in our country. It's not a distant problem, all the victims just faceless and nameless children. Perhaps we do not know them. Perhaps we're not related to them. But they are all our children. They are Filipinos. We do not even have to go through the exercise of trying to imagine, what would I feel if it happened to our children? Doesn't matter. Just look at the child. Think of any child. Any child. They live within our midst, and several, maybe the sons, daughters of those people we know. Their smiles, their brave smiles, innocent smiles, conceal the pain that is our nation's shame. As the sad reality is that many perpetrators are the victims' families or relatives, the very people that we expect to care for them. And as this is a battle that we must not lose, and we will not lose, this administration created the Presidential Office for Child Protection, or POCP, which is a critical step in our fight against this crisis. The POCP will serve as the epicenter of our efforts, bringing together resources and strategies to ensure that every child in our country is protected and supported. On the legislative side, such as the Anti-OSAEC and Anti-CSAEM Act, as well as the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2022, also underscore a relentless pursuit to bring these perpetrators to justice. Furthermore, our Tier 1 status in the Trafficking in Persons report shows that we as a country have made earnest efforts and leadership in combating the crimes of human trafficking, and OSAEC. We have also set the global example of effective law enforcement, collaborating with Philippine Internet Crimes Against Children, or the PICAC. The Philippine National Police Women and Children Protection Center reported that it has rescued more than 1,099 victims of trafficking in persons and OSAEC, and arrested more than 100 suspects from 2022 to July of 2024. This might give us some satisfaction. If that is how many that we have apprehended, if that is the number of the children that we have saved, I cannot help but thinking how many are still left out there. That is a minority. That is not the majority of the victims. That is not the majority of these perpetrators. That is the minority. And we need to do more. It serves as a testament that this administration has an unwavering dedication to ending this kind of abuse. Be assured, we are fully committed to ensuring in protecting our children, who are the most vulnerable members of our society. It is our utmost priority to protect our innocence. Innocence, perfect little beings who are being hurt for money by the people that they trust. So to everyone here, this summit is a significant waypoint, a moment to reflect on our progress and renew our commitment to eradicating OSAEC. To our international partners, we extend our gratitude for your aid to us in continuing this fight. Your support has been valuable in our mission to save children, rescue victims, and give them a chance to start over. As we move forward, let us reflect on our roles in these critical battles. To the DSWD, the DOH, DOJ, DepEd, DILG, let us stand firmly by our sworn duty to protect the innocent children who have no power to defend themselves and have only us to look to do that for them. Continue to develop training programs, ensure that our law enforcement, the prosecution, social workers, teachers, other public servants are well equipped to handle these cases. Strengthen our criminal justice system to the end that all who perpetrate this abhorrent crime are put behind bars and made to pay for what they have done. And everyone should think not only twice, but 3, but 4, 5, 10, 100 times before committing this abuse again. I have said it before, I will say it again. This administration will do everything. We will spare no effort to combat these heinous crimes against our children. The LGUs have a unique position, as they are positioned to foster an environment where child abuse is not tolerated. Leverage your knowledge and experience to ensure that no child falls victim to OSAEC. With the launching of Report OSAEC, Report OSAEC, we are hopeful that this will help increase community awareness of what OSAEC is, how we can prevent it, how we can help those who are suffering from these abuses, and the legal consequences for committing what we consider as the worst crime against humanity. To our communities, this administration implores you to be suspicious, be watchful, and report even the slightest inkling of abuse. I reiterate my message in the State of the Nation address. Let us not turn a blind eye to wrongdoings, because passivity enables evil to perpetuate. One call to the Makabata helpline, 1383, can save one child. Let us all make the Philippines the absolute worst place for those who abuse and exploit children. To our victims and survivors, your stories to continue to push us in the right direction. Your extraordinary courage motivates us to do better. Look at this young lady, what she has made of herself, besides all the evil that has been perpetrated to her and the people around her. And yet she has made something of herself. And this is what we destroy when we allow these exploiters to continue with doing what they are doing. That is what we destroy. We destroy that hope, that possibility, that life that is God-given and should not be taken away by anyone but God Himself. We cannot even begin to imagine the horrors that they faced. It's not their burden to carry alone. The entire government is with you. We hold your hand and walk along the arduous path towards healing and recovery. As we were discussing many of the measures that we were trying to put into place, I reminded all the heads of the different agencies what we are trying to do here, what is the most important part of this work that we are trying to do here, is to save the child, save that life. That should be always our primary consideration, because life, when taken away, never be returned. And for whatever we do, a part of that child's life has already been permanently taken away. Perhaps we can offer another option, another form, another chance at a good life. And that's what we have to always remember. This is not about crime. This is not about money. This is not about exploitation. It is about preserving and saving and making sure that our future is bright. Our children are our future. Let us save them. Let us keep them safe. Let us keep them healthy. Let us keep them strong. Because that way we keep our future safe and healthy and strong. It is that existential in its importance. We are resolute in our commitment to provide services that will help move the victims forward, such as therapy, reintegration to DSWD and its partners, including, of course, the IJM. Let us build a world where justice and compassion prevail and every child's safety and dignity are upheld. Dahil sa bagong Pilipinas, inaaruga at pinoprotektahan natin ang ating mga anak. Sa bagong Pilipinas, binibigyan natin ng pag-asa ang mga biktima. Sa bagong Pilipinas, sinisigurado natin na may mananagot sa mga nagsasala. Sama-sama po natin tapusin ang OSAEC. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
First, with the officials and panelists. May we call on officials and panelists to please come down in front of the stage. Thank you. Please exit to your left. The survivor leaders, please get ready. May we call on the survivor leaders to please come up in front of the stage. Thank you. Please exit to your right. Thank you, Mr. President. That ends our photo opportunity. And that concludes our program. Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership in ending online sexual abuse and exploitation of children in the Philippines. Once again, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.,